Hello everyone, George DeSantis here with a look at the market for the week ending May 3rd, 2019. Before we go further, let's look at the disclaimer. And here's a disclaimer, and it simply informs you that I'm not a professional investment advisor, and therefore if you seek professional investment advice, do so with someone who is thus qualified. Let's begin to look at some charts. We'll start with the weekly chart of the S&P 500 as we usually do. And as my friend Alex would say, we really can't trade the monthly chart, but once in a while we take a look just to see that we're in sync with the monthly chart, with the trend there. Okay, so this is a weekly chart of the S&P. We can see that these moving averages, the 4 EMA, the 9 EMA, the 30 weighted moving average, and the 50-day moving average, they're all above each other. In other words, as one analyst would put it, the alligator's mouth is opening. You need to feed it. You need to buy stocks. As we look at the Bollinger Bands, the Bollinger Bands have a distance away from the most recent stock bar, price bar. So we have room to go at the top. We have targets on this head and shoulder pattern, this reverse head and shoulder, which I think we could argue for, make a case that there is one. We have a target of 32.54. Looks, at this stage, it looks pretty ambitious, but we'll see. Now, there was a triangle back here, way back here, that we set a target of, it set a target of 30.50, and so that's more doable, because we're at 29.45 right now. If we look at the parabolic, it's still below the most recent bar, so there's no tendency to reverse this uptrend. I'm using a new set of parameters for parabolic, which I saw in a study in Stocks and Commodities magazine. So we still have a nice uptrend on the weekly chart, folks. The MACD is still in bullish territory. It entered bullish territory here. Williams per centaur, one of the best indicators for me anyway, since it crossed above this minus 50 line here, this magenta line, signaling the beginning of this uptrend right here. Okay, it's been above the much above this upper line here, so it's -1 or something. This is inversely related, I think. In any case, all these indicators, RSI 12 went bullish here, and it's continuing to be bullish. It's now above 60. So enough for the weekly chart. Let's look at the daily chart. Okay, on the daily chart, we have a slightly different picture. I pointed out a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that we had a bearish divergence of MACD here, and it appears that that divergence might have been played out already with this drop here in the last couple of days. So what we have right now in candlestick patterns is a bullish morning star. This bearish candle, bearish engulfing candle, in fact. Then this doji, a gap down in the doji, and now we have a nice bullish candle, and we are poised to hit the parabolic here. And so we're likely to go higher from here. This bearish divergence of MACD probably played itself out already. We have MACD ticking up right now as of Friday. Williams per centaur remains nicely above the magenta line. Let's just refer to it as a magenta line. And when it's there, it's bullish. And you can see that RSI 12 is also above this 60% line. So I think all in all, we can say the charts are bullish. The S&P charts weekly and daily are bullish. So we want to take a look at some individual stocks. So we'll start off with Shaken Analytics, and I'll show you, here's a list of stocks that I currently own. Not that you should go out and buy them. I'm just showing you how I'm using Shaken Analytics. Look at CDNS or Cadence Design. Now, this stock, I would never have bought this stock without the input that I get from the screens of Shaken Analytics. And let me show you what it's done so far since I have it. Well, here's a here's a screen of many stocks that I own. Actually in 2 accounts. I have another one. But you can see here Cadence. I bought it at 58 and change. And it's up 20% since I bought it. So it's up $24,000. And that pays for the subscription of what I paid was $1,750 for the year. I mean, I'm encouraging you guys to take a look at Shaken. I don't get a commission, but I'm going to send you an email with a proposition, and you can see what you want to do. You see Dell is up 20%, and one I bought recently, BE, Bloom Energy, 13, and so on. And you see the other ones, Microsoft, etc. These are more recent purchases down here. They're only up a few percentage points. So that's as far as Shaken goes, and I'm very fond of it. So let's take a look at some of the other ones like Microsoft. Remember I sent you an email about Microsoft because I like it very much here and I own it. And you can see it's entering that overbought territory here. Money flow is still quite strong. And all these other indicators are lining up as pretty bullish. I like, for example, SNPS, which is Synopsys. It's now overbought. But since it's showing me all this relative strength here and money flow is increasing a little bit, I think I'll hang on to it for a while. iPay, which is the ETF of payment systems, this one is now somewhat overbought. So I'm not sure that I want to sell it here because I think this is a pretty good long-term holding. MasterCard, very good long-term holding, but it's became overbought, see, and it pulled back a little bit. 2 overbought indications. One, this line here, and the other, this upper dotted line, tells you it was overbought when it went above there. So it's pulled back a little. I like PayPal, of course, and you can see that it's still somewhat in oversold territory. And so it's really looking nice. I mean, it's bumping off the 21-day average, and the relative strength is still very good, and it's also bullish. Look at the money flow. This one I bought recently. It was recommended as stock of the day, and you could see it's very oversold. Money flow is pretty strong, and the relative strength is positive, and it's also bullish. So I just bought that one recently. I like Avid. Avid became very oversold here, Avid Technology. And now you can see it's ticking up in terms of money flow and in terms of relative strength. Still neutral. And eventually I want to be owning just bullish and very bullish stocks. But right now I still own some neutrals. Here's, and by the way, you can see what the stocks did on Friday. These are the percentage increases here. For example, this one here, Bloom Energy, this one was up 8% for the day. So I still own quite a few of these. I like Dell still. I still love Dell. Look at this chart. You know, I made a lot of money with Dell before, and I'm hoping to do so again. Look at the money flow. Institutions are buying this thing, and it's still not in very overbought territory. So that's so much for this list that I own. Now, some time ago, I made up a list of the fastest growing stocks. I think that was from a list in 100 of the fastest growing stocks in Fortune. I believe it was Fortune or Forbes. What I did recently, in fact, yesterday, was I went through the whole list of 100 and filtered out just those stocks that are bullish and very bullish. And you can see the whole list of them here. If you would like to, you could, I'll send you the list in the email, those of you who get the email. But you can actually take a note here, stop the video and take a note. Okay, here's another list. Here's another screen that I did. I'm calling it stocks with a very strong trend. And you could see that they're either very bullish or bullish. They include a few stocks that I own, PayPal, MasterCard, and CDNS. And these are stocks that have been recommended as stocks, some of them stocks of the day. And here's another list. What I did was I'm keeping a record of all the stocks of the day that are recommended by Shaken, and I'm keeping them on a list. So you can see that many of them, most of them are bullish or very bullish. Many of them were up on Friday, all the green percentage increases, and you can take a note of that. And here's a list of stocks using the screen that Sandy Shakin seems to use. And you can see many repetitions here. Here's Cadence Design. Here's that real estate stock they listed a stock of the day some time ago. And you have many of these stocks. Microsoft, which we own, I own. You can see moving MasterCard, Oracle, PayPal, etc. So I also did a screen of the NASDAQ 100, and some of those familiar names are still here. Cadence Design, Microsoft, Disney, PayPal, etc. So you can take note of these and see what you think about them. And here's another list with stocks that are providing computer services, as it's called. And you can see this top one here, this NICE Limited. It meets all these criteria that the Shakin people recommend. First of all, it's above the long-term moving average. It's now bumping off of this 21-day average. It was a bit overbought, and now it's back down here. It's now oversold. Money flow is still very strong, and the relative strength is good, and it's a very bullish stock. So this is just one example of what you're looking for with the Shakin software. I love it. I hope you do. I hope you find it useful. I'll send you an email about a proposition I have about how we might get more of you to use it. I think that's all for today, folks. I will have to wrap it up. Got to pack for a trip. See you.